The day she had the accident started like any other. Bright, hopeful, full of plans for the future. But in a single moment, everything changed. My future wife, the one I dreamed of spending my life with, was suddenly fighting for her survival. As I sat beside her in that cold hospital room, watching her struggle to breathe, I realized this was only the beginning of a journey that would test every part of me. What happened next didn't just shake our world, it transformed me in ways I never could have imagined. Imagine this, it's a crisp Saturday morning, the kind where the sun filters through the trees like it's promising forever. I'm behind the wheel, humming to that song we both love, the one that always makes her laugh and dance in the passenger seat. She's texting me a heart emoji, saying she's running 5 minutes late from brunch with her sister, but no rush. Our weekend plans are locked in. Dinner reservations, a movie, talks about the house we might buy someday. Then my phone buzzes with a call from an unknown number. "Are you the fiancé of Emily Carter?" the voice asks, sharp and clinical. My stomach drops. "There's been an accident on Highway 17. She's been airlifted, critical condition." The world tilts. Tires screech in my mind before I even process it. I grip the wheel, flooring it to the hospital, heart pounding like a war drum, every red light a lifetime. I burst through those sterile doors, the smell of antiseptic hitting me like a wall, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry hornets. Nurses in scrubs part like the sea as I stammer her name. They lead me to ICU, room 14, where machines beep in a frantic symphony, tubes snaking everywhere. There she is, my Emily, the woman with the laugh that lights up rooms, the one who plans our adventures with spreadsheets and dreams, now pale, swollen, hooked to a ventilator. A doctor pulls me aside. Car tag boned her at 60 miles an hour, internal bleeding, collapsed lung, coma, unknown. Prepare for the worst? Prepare? How do you prepare when your future just shattered on asphalt? I collapse into a chair, her hand limp in mine, whispering promises I might not keep. This wasn't supposed to happen, not to us, not now. But let me take you back just a bit, because to understand the shock, you need the before. Emily and I met 2 years earlier at a coffee shop, cliché I know, but she spilled her latte on my shoes, apologized with that megawatt smile and bought me a new pair. From there it was electric. Hikes in the mountains, late night stargazing, her head on my chest dreaming aloud about kids, a dog named Max, the white picket fence life. She was my anchor, the optimist to my skeptic, always saying, life's too short for what-ifs. We'd just gotten engaged 3 months prior, ring shopping the weekend before, friends called us the perfect couple. And now? Perfection lay broken, glass shards in her hair from photos they showed me, her SUV totaled, airbags deployed like failed saviors. As the hours blurred into night, family trickled in, her parents sobbing, my brother silent and strong. I couldn't leave her side, replaying the call in my head, the screech of metal, her final text glowing on my phone. What if she'd left earlier? What if I'd insisted on picking her up? Guilt clawed at me, a beast I couldn't outrun. Doctors came and went, charts full of numbers that meant nothing but everything. Blood pressure crashing, scans showing brain swelling. Talk to her, they said. She can hear you. So I did. Pouring out memories. The beach trip where she buried me in sand. Our first fight that ended in laughter. Her fingers twitched once, or did they? Hope flickered, fragile as a match in wind. This wasn't just an accident. It was the universe testing if our love could survive hell. You know that feeling when reality fractures? When one call rewires your brain from plans to prayers? That's where I was. Staring at the woman I'd built my life around, now a stranger in a hospital gown. But something stirred in that chaos, a resolve I didn't recognize. Little did I know, this moment was the hook. The inciting incident that would drag me through fire, forging a version of myself unbreakable. Because what came next? Before the accident, life with Emily was a tapestry of vibrant colors, each moment stitched with laughter, dreams, and plans for forever. We had spent countless evenings discussing everything from the small joys of weekend hikes to our visions of a family, a home filled with love and warmth. Every day felt like a new page in a story we were writing together, unworried and confident in our shared future. But that canvas was abruptly torn apart one fateful day, leaving the edges jagged and the future uncertain. The accident was sudden. A blur of sounds and shattered glass, a moment where time seemed to stop, and everything I took for granted slipped away in an instant. The world I thought I knew was turned upside down, not just because of the physical crash, but because it forced me to face the fragility of life, love, and hope, on a scale I never imagined possible. I remember how in those first hours the hospital corridors felt endless, the sterile walls echoing the pounding of my heart. Each step towards Emily's room was weighted with fear and disbelief, the kind of dread that tightens your chest and steals your breath. Seeing her there, motionless and vulnerable, connected to machines that beeped rhythmically, was like confronting a nightmare I couldn't wake from. In that moment, I learned how quickly life can pivot, how plans can dissolve, and how the people we love most can become strangers in an instant, strangers fighting battles we glimpse only through glass walls and whispered updates. But it was also in that sterile silence, surrounded by doctors and machines, that something within me began to shift. The pain and fear awakened a deep resolve, an unspoken promise to stand tall not just for me, but for her. During those long hours and the sleepless nights that followed, I started to understand that this accident was more than a tragic event. It was a catalyst, a crucible through which both Emily and I would be forged anew. It revealed vulnerabilities and strengths I didn't know I had. The simple act of holding her hand, speaking into a silence that seemed unbreakable, became a lifeline for both of us. Every update from the medical team brought new mountains to climb, but also small victories that lit the way. The days of uncertainty stretched on, each moment teaching me the raw essence of resilience, not just surviving the storm but learning to stand firm within it. My role transformed from a hopeful fiancé to a steadfast partner in the truest sense, learning that love is less about perfect moments and more about unwavering presence in the face of adversity. This experience forced me to leave behind the comfort of certainty and embrace the unknown. It taught me that life isn't a series of events we control, but a winding path shaped by response and attitude. As I stood beside Emily through surgeries, therapies, and setbacks, I discovered a strength that transcended physical endurance. It was emotional and spiritual resilience, born out of love and necessity. It made me reevaluate what mattered most. The plans, the achievements, the trivial worries faded against the backdrop of her survival. It was a journey that stripped away superficial layers and revealed the raw, unfiltered essence of human connection and courage. Through this, I found myself growing into someone more compassionate, patient, and profoundly grateful for every breath we shared. Amid the struggle, I also witnessed the transformative power of hope, not the naive kind, but one forged in fire. Each small sign of improvement, each flutter of fingers or spark of eye movement, became a beacon that pushed me to keep fighting alongside her. It shaped my understanding of love as an active, ongoing commitment to being there no matter the cost or challenge. This journey changed the way I viewed hardship, not as something to be feared or avoided, but as a force that can catalyze profound personal growth and deepen our bonds. It was a lesson in humility and humanity, teaching me that strength is often quiet and persistent, found in the moments we choose to hold on when everything suggests letting go. The accident didn't just alter the course of Emily's life, it irrevocably changed mine. It opened my eyes to the fragility and beauty of existence, redefined my sense of purpose, and deepened my capacity to love. Through pain, uncertainty, and fear, I learned that sometimes the greatest transformations come not from what happens to us, but from how we choose to respond. This journey, still unfolding, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of love to guide us through even the darkest storms. The future may be unknown, but with each step forward I carry with me the lessons forged in that hospital room, the lessons that have changed me forever. In the raw aftermath of Emily's accident, as days bled into weeks in that ICU vigil, I confronted a version of myself I barely recognized. Shattered, questioning, yet strangely alive with purpose. The doctor's grim updates, brain swelling, stabilizing but unpredictable, her hand squeezing mine for the first time in days, ignited a fire of determination, pushing me to advocate fiercely, from demanding second opinions to researching experimental therapies late into the night. This wasn't just survival mode, it was a profound rewiring, where fear morphed into fuel, teaching me that true strength emerges not in calm seas, but when waves threaten to drown you. What began as desperate prayers evolved into a daily ritual of presence, sitting by her bed reading our favorite books aloud, her eyelids fluttering in response, each tiny victory chipping away at despair. Family rallied, friends brought meals, but it was those solitary moments, wiping her brow, whispering vows of forever, that stripped away my old self-doubts, revealing a resilience rooted in unconditional love. Studies on near-death survivors echo this. Trauma survivors often report heightened self-esteem, reduced fear of death, and a zest for life, as the brain rebuilds through meaning-making and existential reevaluation. Through endless physio sessions post-coma, watching Emily relearn to walk with a limp and a defiant grin, I shed superficial priorities, the career climb, material chases that once defined me. Gratitude flooded in for breath, for her laugh returning faintly, mirroring how NDers described newfound appreciation for existence's fragility, prioritizing relationships over accolades, I started journaling lessons nightly, forgiveness for what-ifs, compassion for her pain mirroring my own growth, turning guilt into empathy that deepened our bond beyond words. Professionally, the shift was seismic. I quit chasing promotions, redirecting energy to mentor others facing loss, inspired by reports of NDE changers who set boundaries, pursue purpose-driven work, and redefine success inwardly. Emily's first steps home marked my rebirth too, more patient with life's curveballs, spiritually attuned, viewing hardship as a forge for unbreakable character. This crucible of crisis birthed psychological preparedness, where past pain equips you for future storms, fostering warmth toward others and a laser focus on what endures. Socially, I became the listener, the encourager, drawing from Emily's slow recovery, speech therapy triumphs, shared tears over lost months, to connect authentically, much like survivors gaining intuition and reduced materialism. Our home filled with mindful practices, gratitude circles at dinner, hikes celebrating her progress, each forging me into someone profoundly present. Existential reevaluation hit hard. Life's not about control but response. Spirituality blooming from suffering's ashes, aligning with research showing NDEs spark compassion, purpose, and less death dread. Yet this transformation deepened in quiet revelations, like holding her during nightmares of the crash, realizing love's power transcends flesh. I embraced vulnerability, trading skepticism for wonder. As data confirms, post-traumatic growth amplifies self-understanding, relationships, and life's meaningfulness post-trauma. Emily's spark reignited ours, proving adversity's alchemy turns weakness to wisdom, fear to fearlessness. What lay ahead? Months turned into a grueling marathon of rehabilitation, where Emily's first words, "I love you," cracked open the floodgates of relief, but the real battles lay ahead in therapy rooms, echoing with determination and defeat. Her limp persisted, speech slurred at first, yet each step she took with crutches mirrored my internal strides, shedding layers of impatience for profound patience. As research shows, NDE survivors gain heightened compassion and empathy, viewing others through lenses of shared vulnerability. I traded boardroom ambitions for bedside vigils, learning to celebrate micro milestones, like her tying shoelaces unaided, fostering a gratitude that rewired my brain away from scarcity toward abundance, much like the persistent attitude shifts documented over decades post-trauma. Nightmares plagued us both, hers of screeching tires, mine of beeping monitors silenced forever. Yet, confronting them together built unbreakable trust, aligning with findings that NDEs reduce death fear while amplifying life's meaningfulness, prompting spiritual awakenings and priority shifts to relationships over status. I launched a support group for accident survivors, channeling pain into purpose, witnessing how my story resonated, sparking their own growth. This echoed studies where experiencers report stronger life purpose, less materialism, and deeper connections, transforming isolation into community. Professionally reborn, I pivoted to motivational coaching, infusing sessions with Emily's recovery triumphs, her relearning piano keys, our adaptive hikes, proving adversity forges authenticity that captivates. Long-term effects solidified, diminished PTSD-like intrusions through mindful reframing, elevated self-esteem from advocacy wins like securing better insurance coverage. Data confirms NDEers experience sustained spiritual reorientation, decreased alienation, and zestful engagement, as I felt daily, savoring sunsets we once rushed past. Socially, old friendships faded for authentic bonds. I became the vulnerability evangelist, sharing crash photos and scar stories at gatherings, inspiring others to drop masks. Emily's humor returned sharper, our intimacy deepened through honest fears shared over candlelit dinners, reflecting how trauma survivors cultivate richer relational depth and reduced superficial pursuits. Daily practices emerged, meditation circles, journaling what-ifs into what-nows, cementing resilience as habit with research underscoring enduring compassion boosts and purpose alignment post-NDE. Spiritually, the accident dissolved my agnostic shell. Hospital chapel vigils birthed faith in unseen forces, paralleling profound awakenings where belief in afterlife surges, fear of death plummets, and existence gleams sacred. Emily's journal entries, scrawled post-recovery, mirrored this. We died and lived anew. Our home altars held crash mementos beside wedding photos, symbols of alchemy turning wreckage to wisdom. This evolution persisted, defying time, as longitudinal studies affirm attitude changes endure 2 decades, fueling ongoing transformation. Intuition sharpened. I sensed her pain flares before words, navigated life's pivots with calm foresight, akin to NDE-enhanced perception and precognitive-like insights during dreams. Work boundaries solidified, no more 80-hour weeks, prioritizing presence, yielding fulfillment, research, links to post-trauma growth domains, self-perception, interpersonal ties, existential outlook, yet deeper still, forgiveness bloomed, for the reckless driver, for my pre-accident complacency, unleashing freedom that propelled us forward. As Emily walked, unaided, down aisles toward I Do rehearsals. As Emily's recovery plateaued, months of plateaus where progress teased, then stalled, her frustration boiling over in tears during failed therapy reps, I faced my own abyss of doubt, wondering if our old life was gone forever. Yet that very grind sculpted me into a pillar of unyielding optimism, mirroring how NDE research reveals sustained reductions in death anxiety and amplified life appreciation persisting over decades. I dove into advocacy, lobbying hospitals for better survivor resources, turning personal hell into public good, as studies show experiencers channel trauma into altruism, boosting compassion and purpose that outlasts initial shock. Our evenings shifted to ritual vulnerability shares, dissecting crash fears under starlit skies, forging intimacy impervious to scars, much like the relational deepening reported long-term post-NEE. Career-wise, I authored a blog series on resilience, exploding in readership as readers messaged their parallels, lost jobs, illnesses, proving my pivot from corporate drone to storyteller resonated universally, aligning with findings of decreased materialism and heightened meaningful work pursuit among survivors. Emily's adaptive art therapy bloomed into joint exhibits, her canvases of twisted metal morphing to phoenix rises symbolizing our alchemy, while I mentored young couples, emphasizing presence over perfection, echoing spiritual reorientations where divinity beliefs surge and priorities realign to love's core. Nightly gratitudes became sacred. No more rushing commutes, savoring her hand in mine during neighborhood strolls, embodying the zestful engagement that defines post-traumatic growth trajectories. Social circles evolved organically. Superficial happy hours yielded to deep-dive potlucks with fellow survivors, where laughter pierced grief, building a tribe of transformed souls. As data confirms, NDE-erers cultivate richer networks through empathy spikes and alienation drops. I forgave the at-fault driver after his apologetic letter, a release that unshackled resentment. Paralleling forgiveness booms in research that free energy for forward momentum. Physically, I adopted her physio routines, yoga flows syncing breaths, honing discipline that spilled into disciplined optimism, countering any PTSD flickers with proactive reframing techniques proven to sustain mental health gains. Spiritually, chapel doubts dissolved into daily awe, sunrises as divine winks, her survival as miracle proof, fueling a faith resilient against setbacks, consistent with profound awakenings where afterlife convictions endure, slashing existential voids. Intuition bloomed. I anticipated her migraine auras, life's detours, navigating with precognitive calm akin to enhanced perceptions in NDE accounts. Professionally, keynote invites poured in, my raw narrative igniting audiences to audit their what-ifs, validating shifts toward purpose-driven vocations that persist lifelong. Home became sanctuary, vision boards plotting dreams anew, from accessible adventures to family plans, embodying research-backed priority upheavals, favoring relationships eternally. Yet the deepest forge came in quiet reckonings, holding her through phantom pains, realizing transformation's tapestry weaves suffering's threads into strength's fabric. Emily's whisper, "We're unbreakable now," crystallized it. Adversity doesn't define us, our response does. This sustained metamorphosis, less fear, more fire, propelled daily choices toward legacy building. As we planned vows amid wildflowers, her strides steady beside mine. 1 year post-accident, as Emily and I exchanged vows under a canopy of blooming oaks, her stride steady, scars hidden beneath lace, I stood transformed, no longer the man who measured worth by titles but by impact, embodying research showing NDEs spark enduring spiritual awakenings, slashing death fear by over 50% and elevating compassion that persists lifelong. Our life pulsed with intentionality. Annual crash-versary retreats revisiting gratitude journals, turning wreckage memories into wisdom rituals. As studies confirm, survivors prioritize relationships eternally, ditching materialism for meaningful bonds that deepen over decades. I keynoted globally, audiences rising in ovations to their own what-ifs, proving my narrative's alchemy. Pain to purpose mirrors data where 70% of experiencers overhaul priorities, favoring inner work over superficial chases. Professionally, my coaching empire thrived on authenticity. Clients shed toxic jobs post-sessions, Inspired by Emily's scar art business booming, her canvases auctioned for survivor funds, aligning with findings of heightened altruism and purpose-driven careers outlasting trauma by 20-plus years. Socially, we hosted resilience summits, blending tears and triumphs with fellow warriors, forging tribes where vulnerability reigns, much like Endier's reported drops in alienation and spikes in empathy that redefine communities. Nightmares faded to dreams of flight, intuition guiding pivots, like adopting our rescue pup Max, echoing enhanced perceptions and zestful living that research ties to profound life reorientation. Spiritually anchored, daily meditations affirmed divinity's thread through chaos. Emily's near-death visions of light validating my chapel-born faith, consistent with longitudinal data showing afterlife beliefs surge permanently, fueling fearless existence. Forgiveness extended ripples. I mentored the driver's redemption arc, unleashing collective healing, as studies highlight compassion booms, freeing energy for legacy. Physically synced, we conquered adaptive marathons, discipline honed, translating to mental fortitude against life's tempests, countering any PTSD echoes with proactive growth. Long-term metrics astounded. Brain scans I'd commissioned revealed neural rewiring toward positivity biases, paralleling NDE persistence where attitude shifts endure irrespective of event severity. Family expanded. Our first child conceived amid wildflower fields, prioritizing legacy over luxury, embodying the meaningfulness surge, transforming mundane to sacred. Audiences queried post-talks. How do I harness this? My blueprint. Audit fears, ritualize gratitudes, serve boldly. Actionable steps rooted in evidence that NDEs catalyze not mere survival, but thriving transcendence. Yet evolution deepened in legacy layers, authoring our memoir, funding accident prevention tech, watching Emily keynote beside me, her voice steady, we rose from ruins. This wasn't endpoint, it was perpetual forge, research affirming changes amplify over time, belief in life's profundity unyielding. As whispers of our next chapter stirred, global advocacy tours, perhaps parenthood's new trials. Looking back now, I see that accident not as an ending, but as a turning point, the moment that rewrote my story. It forced me to confront my fears, my weaknesses, and what truly matters in life. Through her courage and the challenges we faced together, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had, and a love more powerful than pain or hardship. That accident changed everything, but most of all, it changed me forever.